And then I got a notice that it was going up to $2,200. So I said, peace.
Can someone please explain this is possible?
How do you guys afford living in California?
My rent was $1,700 a month for a 1-bedroom. And then I got a notice that it was going up to $2,200. So I said, peace, see ya, I'm not doing this. And then I get a call that's like, oh, was that price the problem? Like, we can fix that. And I'm like, were you playing chicken with my rent? Why would you? Peace, done.
I debated whether or not I want to tell this story on my TikTok, but I think it's just too insane not to. For context, I live in Boston and I just looked it up. The average price for a 1-bedroom apartment is $3,400. The average price for a 2-bedroom is $4,500. So rent prices are pretty high. I live in a 2-bed, 2-bath unit. I used to live with my best friend. She was my roommate. And then just recently she moved out to move in with her boyfriend and I took over the lease by myself. And I'm gonna tell you guys why I decided to take over the lease by myself. So my best friend and I signed a 12-month lease, and about 2 months before the lease was up, we got our renewal offer. Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. It was for $400 more per month, which is $200 more per person. And I've heard horror stories of people getting like $1,000 increases. However, regardless of what the offer was, we were not gonna re-sign because my best friend had been with her boyfriend for a little while and they were ready to move in together. And I was not about to double my rent to live in a 2-bedroom. So we declined the offer, and this is where things get interesting. The next day, my best friend is browsing apartments on Zillow, just looking for a new place to move in for her and her boyfriend. She comes across our unit. Interesting about this is that it's listed for $1,500 less than what they offered it to us at. Literally livid. And 3 days go by and I decide to recheck the listing for myself. It is now listed for $2,000 less than what they offered it to us at, which ended up pushing it into budget for me, so I ended up re-signing it by myself. If anyone watching this is a real estate agent or works in the housing market, can someone please explain this is possible? I'm honestly hoping there's like a logical explanation, because I just do not understand how we were offered a rate $2,000 higher than what the apartment was worth. And I don't necessarily expect them to drop our current rate by $2,000, but I certainly wouldn't expect them to raise it another $400. Anyone that knows me knows that I am not a confrontational person, but I did end up going into the leasing office and basically just asking, like, how is this possible? And the guy that I was talking to did not have any answer that made sense to me. Said basically, well, we expect the value of the building to go up over time, hence the $400 increase, but that does not explain the $2,000 decrease when it was relisted. He basically said that it's just an automatic system that does all of this pricing, but I still feel like there's no way there aren't some sort of manual check. I don't know. Can anyone explain this?
Okay, so I have a question. How do you guys afford living in California? How do you afford living specifically in San Diego by yourselves? Like, people that actually live by yourselves. Because, like, I came from Texas, of course, so I'm, like, shocked. You can understand my shock. I'm here for college, and I have to live off campus next semester to share a room. And to share a room in San Diego, it's almost $1,000 with utilities and everything. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, in Texas, I can literally rent a studio or a whole apartment for like $1,000 or something. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, but hello. Like, how do you guys afford living here by yourselves? Because I'm so confused. What do you do for work? Because, like, as a college student, like, I'm struggling here. I don't know what to do. Like, I really don't know what to do.
I know it's not just Milwaukee, but all of these cities putting up all these high-rise buildings so that all of these developers can get, you know, tax write-offs or whatever it is, because they can claim it as a loss because no one's living there, because no one can pay $2,200 a month for a studio. The rest of my rant got deleted. But anyways, what I'm saying though is all of these buildings, it's like they're not even like getting creative anymore with like trying to even name a building. They're just slapping it on there, calling it 1910 on Water. That's the address. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, you know, the luxury high-rise buildings, they always have these like names that are like great. And I just saw one that's called like Edgewater 1659, and it's like you just threw a random word in front of the address. And it's like, if I'm paying that much a month for rent, I want to be telling people I live at the Tipton Hotel. I live at the Tipton. You know? Maybe this was just like my marketing brain spinning though while I was on my walk this morning, but it's just like, you're just throwing up these buildings left and right. You're not even taking the time. Like, I haven't even seen an advertisement for any of these new buildings that are going up, maybe because I'm not in the tax bracket that they're looking to advertise to. But they're not even trying to advertise them. They're literally just throwing these buildings up, calling them their address and saying, peace, we're gonna just
get a little lost for the year. Oops.
So I just saw someone talking about how much rent has increased in the past few years. Let me tell you something absolutely ridiculous. So we have lived in the same apartment for 9 years now. When we moved in 9 years ago, our rent was $550 a month. Now, in 2024, after yearly increases every single year, we pay $1,200 a month. $1,200. And guess how many updates we've gotten in this apartment? I'll wait. None. None. Same carpets, same appliances, same cabinets, same everything. Now the new apartments, well, the up and coming renting ones, those get upgrades. Those get all new flooring, paint, cabinets, carpet, everything. But they won't do anything for us unless we move out. But, oh, they would let us move into a renovated apartment, but we have to pay like $200 to do that. Plus move all our stuff. Like, I don't understand. Make it make sense.